Good afternoon. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Climate and Infrastructure Committee for September 12th, 2024. I'm Katie Cashman. I'm the chair of this committee. Before we begin the meeting, I want to offer a friendly reminder to all members, staff, and the public that these meetings are broadcast live to enable greater public participation. These broadcasts include real-time captioning as a further method to increase the accessibility of the meeting. Therefore, all speakers need to be mindful of the rate of their speech so that our captioners can fully capture and transcribe all comments for the broadcast. We ask you to moderate the speed and clarity of your comments. Thank you. At this time, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll so we can verify a quorum for this meeting.
Councilmember Vita.
Present.
Osman.
Present.
Chavez.
Present.
Chowdhury.
Present.
Vice Chair Koski.
Present.
Chair Cashman.
Present.
There are 6 members present.
Thank you, Kendall. Let the record reflect that we have a quorum. We will start out with our consent agenda, which are items 5 through 13, and then we have 4 public hearings today. So on the consent agenda, item 5 is approving the concept layout for the 10th Avenue South Bridge over the Midtown Greenway. Item 6 is approving the concept layout for the 26th Street East and Hiawatha Avenue Safety Improvement Project. Item 7 is approving the concept layout for Hennepin County's Cedar Avenue Reconstruction Project. Item 8 is approving the layout for Hennepin County's Lowry Avenue Northeast Reconstruction Project. Item 9 is authorizing a cooperative agreement with the Park Board for work associated with the East Bank Trail connection. Item 10 is supporting and submitting the City of Minneapolis comments on the Met Council's draft Imagine 2050 Transportation Policy Plan and passage of a resolution supporting bus rapid transit on the Nicollet Central Transit Corridor. Item 11 is the passage of a resolution expressing the city's priorities for the Minnesota Department of Transportation's Rethinking I-94 project. Item 12 is setting a public hearing for September 26th to consider an ordinance related to the electric franchise extension. Item 13 is setting a public hearing for October 24th to consider the assessment charges for sidewalk repair and construction that remain unpaid. Is there any discussion on items 5 through 13 or any items you would like to pull for discussion? Councilmember Osman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to pull item 11 for discussion.
Okay, thank you. And I'm sorry, I forgot to welcome our guests today, Council Members Ellison and Rainville. Thank you for being here. We use the placards in this committee instead of speaker management. Thank you. All right. Any other discussion? Councilmember Chavez?
Thank you, Chair Cashman. I don't want to pull anything for discussion, but I did want to thank staff for their work on a variety of different projects in Ward 9. I know there has been a lot of work done regarding the 10th Avenue Bridge, and I'm excited to help move this item forward and look forward to working with staff on ways we can improve pedestrian and bicyclist safety. I also want to talk about I'm thankful for staff's work on the 26th Street East and Hiawatha Safety Improvement Project. It's one of the most dangerous areas in our city when it comes to traffic and injuries, and residents in the neighborhood have received this very positively. And then also thankful for staff's work on the Cedar Avenue Reconstruction Project. There has been a lot of accidents on the Cedar Avenue corridor, and I'm glad that staff is working really hard on these 3 projects that will help our residents tremendously. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Chavez. Is there any other items to discuss? Okay, so I'm going to move approval of items 5 through 13, except 11. Is there any further discussion on those? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. Those items are approved. So I will recognize Councilmember Osman to introduce item 11, which is a resolution on our priorities for the Rethinking I-94 project.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think we all know Minnesota Department of Transportation is planning a full reconstruction on I-94 between Hiawatha and Marianne Street. This project is impacting many residents in our city, especially in Ward 6, where poor people of color live. Neighborhoods like Cedar Riverside, Elliott Park, Ventura Village, Seward, and Prosper Park, and many more. And City of Minneapolis passed a previous resolution 2020 stating the high level of goals for Rethinking 94 and the city priorities. These areas have always been targeted as when it comes to the state planning projects and so on. So this resolution is authored by Councilmember Wansley, myself, and Councilmember Cashman, and we are letting the state know that it should respect the city priorities and listen to the community and make sure that money studies are done before this project moves forward on. Reconnecting communities is the most important thing for our communities, and I stand behind this. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Do you want to formally move this item for approval?
Yes, I'll move for approval. Thank you.
Second. Any other discussion on this item? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? That item carries. Thank you, Councilmember Osman. Okay, next we'll take up the 4 public hearings that we have today. So our first public hearing is approving the 2025 operating plan, proposed services, and service charges for the Downtown Improvement Special Service District. Here to introduce this item is Jen Swanson.
Good afternoon, Chair Cashman and committee members. My name is Jennifer Swanson. I'm the Interim Director of Business Administration in Public Works. I'm in front of you this afternoon to introduce the public hearing on the 2025 services and service charges for the Downtown Business Improvement Special Service District, which is also known as the DID. This is an annual hearing that is required as part of the City Council's review and approval of the district's proposed services and service charges for next year. The DID was established by Minneapolis Code of Ordinances in December 2008 and began full-service operations in July 2009. The district was renewed in 2013, 2017, and 2021. Each year, the DID's board, made up of downtown property owners, employers, residents, and leaders, establish and approve a budget for accomplishing their goals of making downtown Minneapolis clean, green, safe, and vibrant. Public hearing notices and the proposed operating plan were mailed to all ratepayers. The DID hosted an open house on September 3rd, and the open house was advertised in a number of locations, including hearing notices in the DID Nicollet office and the DID website. The proposed 2025 service charges are $8,692,934. I will note for the record that the city clerk has shared 12 letters of support of this item. And with that, I'd like to introduce Ben Shardlow, Chief of Staff of the Minneapolis Downtown Improvement District, to give some brief highlights on their 2025 service plan.
Welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee, and thank you, Jen, for that introduction. The Minneapolis Downtown Improvement District is excited to continue providing services to the downtown community that add to the vibrancy of our city. I'll note, last year, we actually had a team of colleagues from DID, and we loved walking the committee through about 40 slides of detail on our work. And this year, we're taking a simpler approach. I'm going to try to talk for a minute or two because we recognize that you have a very full agenda and a lot of important business to attend to. So if I am brief today, it is not an indication of a lack of interest in dialogue. We always welcome opportunities to talk with our partners at the city about any issues of shared interest and concern. So as Jen mentioned, DID's scope of work includes leading and collaborating on programs and initiatives with the mission of making downtown clean, green, safe, and more vibrant. And the most visible kind of cornerstone of the service that we provide downtown is the Ambassador Program. Shout out to the ambassadors. They are out on the street right now making downtown cleaner, greener, safer, more hospitable, and they are the kind of the bedrock of the service that we provide. We also recognize that as we have just entered I think we've just wrapped up our 15th year. So the DID has been around for 15 years. And our work providing those core services has evolved over time, while still keeping a really keen eye on making sure that we're providing those core services that are our reason for being. At the same time, we know the downtown is evolving, and we're learning more about how to do that work really well. So an example of that is we started out with an ambassador program, and since then we've adapted to have a specialized livability team that helps people in crisis, and members of the livability team have special training to be directed over to people who need help when they need help. Another example, on how our greening work has evolved. We used to maintain completely different greening fixtures on Hennepin Avenue, and then we worked for many, many years with the city on a new design for Hennepin with new greening infrastructure, and now we maintain that greening. So that evolves. Another timely example is we do a lot to operate Nicollet as an enhanced streetscape, including adding a lot of free public activities for vibrancy. And one of those programs that just launched last year is called the Nicollet Exchange. It's an activation that's happened every Tuesday through the summer months. And the center of that is a sustainability exchange where anyone can donate one item and get anything else from a sustainability essentially free store. And through that program, we've kept hundreds, if not thousands, of items out of the waste stream and provided something where it's literally inclusive to anyone. If you have an object, you can come in and walk away with something interesting. As it so happens, my colleague Lisa Medag, who conceptualized and ran that program, is off at the International Downtown Association Conference right now, accepting an award of excellence for that program. So this is work that is innovative, that's helping inform dialogue among our peers as business improvement districts over how we can activate downtown in an inclusive way. So I think just the last thing to underline is just this conversation should start with recognizing that our core service is the ambassadors, but we also do a lot of work in partnership with the city and others behind the scenes to advance our mission. One example of that is we try to encourage everyone else downtown to do their part to contribute to a green, beautiful, and activated downtown. We run a program called the Greening Awards. If you go to mplsdid.com/greening awards, you can help vote for recognizing people and organizations downtown that are doing their part to make downtown a better place. And scanning. And then just another partnership on the greening front to highlight. We have stood up in partnership with the city and the watershed a program to encourage people to adopt landscaping downtown. And last year we had 70 beds adopted, and that program will continue to grow in the years to come. So a lot more to say, but I think the important thing to underline is that we understand that this budget hearing process is an important part of us being accountable to our stakeholders and to our partners at the city to make sure that we're meeting our mission, and we welcome that opportunity. And we want to thank you and all of our stakeholders for helping us maintain and strengthen our extraordinary downtown. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. I will open the public hearing now on this item, and we have 4 speakers signed up, but if you would like to speak on this item, you can go over and see the clerks and get on the list to speak. So welcoming up our first speaker, Todd Dusing from the Theater District, and you have 2 minutes.
Good afternoon, members of council, Chairperson Cashman. My name is Todd Dusing. I'm the president and CEO of Hennepin Arts. Hennepin Arts fully supports DID's efforts, recognizing their invaluable role in the future growth and prosperity of the downtown area. At Hennepin Arts, we understand the value of well-maintained, dynamic downtown areas, not just for the arts community, but for the broader economic and social fabric of the city. DID's work has been integral in making downtown Minneapolis a destination again, a place where people want to live, work, visit, and invest. This resurgence of activity and energy is central to our collective success, and we have been proud to be a part of this revitalization alongside DID. Hennepin Arts has collaborated closely with DID for many years in mutual support of programming, mission, and initiatives and collaboration in ongoing revitalization of downtown. Without these efforts, Hennepin Arts and other downtown cultural and entertainment venues would not have the ability to succeed. With DID's support, Hennepin Arts brings over 600,000 visitors annually, contributing to the downtown's economic vibrancy. The 23-24 Broadway season for Hennepin Arts generated over $68 million in total local economic impact, underscoring the organization's vital role in the community. Through our Spotlight Education program, Hennepin Arts serves more than 8,000 high school theater students throughout Minnesota with an arts education programming, while also connecting them to the experiences in the downtown theater district. DID's comprehensive approach to managing cleanliness and beautification fosters economic growth. Visitors to Hennepin Arts benefit from DID's work and in turn support local businesses, restaurants, and hotels. The coordinated efforts of DID in caring for issues of homelessness, public safety, and mental health have created a safer and more inclusive environment for everyone, whether they are attending a performance, working, or simply visiting downtown. DID's work is integral in making downtown Minneapolis a destination for living, working, visiting, and investing. We strongly support DID and ask that you continue to invest in their great work. I thank you for the time today.
Thank you very much, Todd. Our next speaker is Inspector Bill Peterson from the 1st Precinct.
Chair Cashman and committee members, good afternoon. I thank you for the opportunity to speak. I would like to start by saying that I've had the pleasure of getting to know the entire DID team and to work with them over the past several years. Not a day goes by that we aren't closely working together on a variety of public safety issues or concerns. I found DID to be absolutely committed to making downtown a cleaner and safer place for all. DID is innovative, and they always go above and beyond to help the MPD provide a holistic approach to public safety. Whether their team is assisting us with communication to downtown stakeholders, planning for major events, activating downtown spaces, cleaning up garbage, removing unsightly graffiti, providing street outreach, or contracting Hennepin County social workers James Seals and Eric Payne to work with individuals who are dealing with homelessness, addiction, and mental health issues. They are always searching for new ways to make downtown a more pleasant place to live, work, and visit. A perfect example would be the recent launch of their security pilot project on Nicollet Mall. Calvin and Mike have been featured on the local news, and they've really done an incredible job dealing with a wide variety of livability issues along Nicollet Mall over the past few months. Just last week, I was leaving a meeting at City Hall when I observed them breaking up a large disturbance at 7th and Nicollet, and I stopped to thank them for their work. You would never hear any of them say it, but their entire organization is recognized as the gold standard for downtown improvement districts. Other major cities routinely visit the city to consult with them on how to replicate what they do. In fact, Shane Zahn, DID's Senior Director of Community Safety, couldn't be here today because he's speaking at the International Downtown Association Conference in Seattle, where he's presenting on safety and security. I can't emphasize enough how much I value DID's partnership. They have my full support, and I look forward to working with them in the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Inspector. Okay, next speaker is Dan Collison.
Good afternoon, Chair Cashman and council members. My name is Dan Collison. I'm the Senior Director of Business Development and Public Affairs for Sherman Associates, and I'm speaking today on behalf of our firm in support of the DID's 2025 budget and proposal. Sherman Associates develops, owns, and operates real estate across the entire beautiful city of Minneapolis, including north and south. However, our greatest concentration is in the downtown area. We're primarily a housing and apartment developer for all income and all ages, with nearly 70% of our apartments being affordable for seniors, working people, and individuals with special needs. We also have downtown, and a part of the ratepayer for the DID, 2 hotels, coffee shops, childcare centers, and more. In the downtown and within the DID geography, our company is delivering next month the Grooves Lofts at North Star in the Central Business District, converting a 330,000 square foot vacant office tower into 216 new apartments that are set at rental rates for middle income individuals, including 20% of the units being committed to 50% of area median income. Now, I share all of that because I want to make sure and clarify our commitment to the city and to our city's beautiful downtown is a strong commitment. And the journey of downtown becoming increasingly inclusive for all of Minneapolis really counts on the DID and the ambassador program to make it a welcoming space. We believe in the DID's professional team, the robust ambassador program, and that they ultimately constitute human infrastructure and programming that helps our downtown become everyone's downtown that is safe, livable, clean, and always reaching for greening and sustainability. And finally, we do not believe that the downtown can be successful without the DD, and as such, we wholeheartedly support the DID's proposed operational budget. Thank you.
Right on time. Thank you for those comments. Our next and final speaker on this item is Billy Schoenberg from Hell's Kitchen.
Thanks everybody at the committee for hearing me. I'm here to speak on behalf of the employee owners of Hell's Kitchen in downtown Minneapolis. I've personally worked downtown for 12 years. I've seen the highs and the lows of downtown, the highs of the Super Bowl, the lows of the shutdown during the pandemic. And it's our firm belief that we're still years out from a full recovery, specifically for the reputation of our downtown. And so we are in full support of the budget proposal for the DID, as we strongly believe that the presence of the ambassadors specifically are one of the top visible things that our patrons and our employees see on a daily basis that make them feel comfortable and safe downtown regularly. Let's see. Additionally, specifically being on 9th Street and Nicollet, the work that they've done bringing in violence interrupters at that corner throughout the last 4 years has been really helpful to just make the entire area more walkable, feel safer. So that's all that I've got. Really just wanted to voice our support for the budget proposal. Thanks.
Thanks so much for coming down. Is there anyone else who wants to speak on this item? Last call. All right, I'm going to close the public hearing and ask if there are any questions or discussion from committee members. Councilman Rainville?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Shardlow, thank you for what you and everyone in DID does. It's appreciated. And to the testifiers today, Mr. Dusing, Inspector Peterson, Mr. Collison, and Mr. Schomburg, we've never met, but I'm a patron of Hell's Kitchen quite a bit. It's a great restaurant. And Inspector Peterson, if you could pass on to Mr. Zahn the great work he's doing down there. When I look at the DID, I see an incredibly successful non-armed public safety effort. The cleanliness, the focus on mental health workers, social workers, the new team you have driving up and down the mall and the electric cart getting to keep the peace down there in a very upbeat fashion. That's great. And I only have to remind all of us of what's going on in downtown St. Paul right now. They're having struggles, and to address those struggles, they just recently expanded their equivalent of the Downtown Improvement District to encompass Lower Town. So nothing is a better compliment than copying to show the success of the Minneapolis DID. So thank you for all you did. And to those who testified today, thank you. And Todd, I look forward to coming down and seeing the Prince musical.
Yes, that's going to be great. Thank you, Councilmember Rainville. Absolutely, thank you, Ben, for your leadership at the DID. I've really appreciated that we've had monthly meetings to collectively address issues going on downtown, and, you know, speaking for myself and Councilmember Rainville as well as Councilmember Osmond, who do represent the downtown community. The services that you provide to residents, businesses, and visitors are so essential. And my favorite aspects are definitely the bathrooms, benches, and water fountains. I'll say it all the time. It's these things that we enjoy in order to be in a public space, and really makes it downtown for all. The Ambassador Program is also super effective, and I know that many groups doing greening projects throughout downtown absolutely love the Greening Awards and a chance to showcase their contributions to public space. So, seeing no one else who wishes to speak on this item, I will move this for approval. And all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Any abstentions? That motion carries. Thanks for coming out. Our next public hearing is approving the 2025 operating plan, proposed services, and service charges for the West Broadway Improvement Special Service District. Here to introduce this item is David Bauer. Welcome.
Thank you, Chair Cashman, members of the committee. Keep the Special Service District theme alive today. Special Service District allows property owners in a commercial area to collectively impose service charges on themselves each year to create a pool of funds These funds are directed back in the form of enhanced services and special amenities. The enhanced services and special amenities are over and above what the city ordinarily provides. Each special service district is guided by an advisory board that is comprised of property owners or their representatives within a district. Each advisory board recommends the services, service frequencies, estimated budget, and the service charge methodology for that district. For this public hearing, we have the West Broadway Improvement Special Service District seeking approval for their 2025 proposed services, service charges, and the requested action is subject to the enactment of the recent ordinance amendment that extended the district's sunset provision to December 31st, 2025. This district is referred to as a 428A district. 428A refers to the Minnesota statute which grants municipalities the authority to establish special service districts by local ordinance. The West Broadway Improvement Special Service District was established under that statute. And just to note, at the upcoming October 10th Public Works and Infrastructure Committee meeting, I'll be before you again to present the 2025 budget request for our legacy districts. These districts predate the 428A statute. Over the summer, Public Works staff worked with the West Broadway Special Service District Advisory Board to recommend these services, prepare a budget, and review their assessment methodology for the coming year. These service charges would be collected on their 2025 real estate taxes in the same manner as special assessments. Each affected property owner was mailed a notice of the public hearing and the service charge amount 10 days in advance of this public hearing. Also included in the mailing was a copy of the proposed operating plan and budget. Staff therefore recommends passage of the resolution approving the 2025 operating plan, special services, cost estimates, and service charges for the coming year and authorizing the Department of Public Works to proceed with the work. That concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bauer. We do not have anyone who, I'm going to proceed to open the public hearing now, and we don't have anyone who is signed up to speak, but if you would like to speak on this item, you are welcome. Yes, come on up. And please state your name and your neighborhood.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. My name is Dean Rose. I'm a third-generation retailer, business owner, developer, and landlord on West Broadway and Penn for the past 35 years. I've served on the West Broadway Coalition Board of Directors for almost as long, and I am here today to offer my support for the Business Improvement District. It provides vital services to our community that are not normally found through normal city channels. And in collaboration with the West Broadway Coalition, this year we are going above and beyond by bringing beautiful planters to our avenue that previously have not been readily available to beautify our avenue. I want to thank you for your support of the SSD for this coming year, and we look forward to continue it for many years to come. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for speaking. I'm now going to close the public hearing and ask if there are any questions or discussion from committee members. Seeing none, I will move this item for approval. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? That motion carries. Wonderful. So public hearing number 3. Our next public hearing is approving the 2025 operating plan, proposed services, and service charges for the 428A special service districts. Welcome back, Mr. Bauer.
Chair Cashman, members of the committee, thank you. These are the remaining 428A districts, and again, as I previously mentioned, a special service district allows property owners in a commercial area to collectively impose service charges on themselves each year to create a pool of funds. These funds are directed back in the form of enhanced services. These enhanced services and special amenities are over and above what the city ordinarily provides. This might sound familiar. These are the same type of districts, just the remaining ones within the city. Mm-hmm. Each service district, again, is guided by an advisory board comprised of property owners or their representatives within a district. Each advisory board recommends the services, service frequencies, estimated budget, and the service charge methodology for their district. This public hearing is in regards to the 50th in France, 54th in Lindale, Bloomington Lake, Chicago Lake, East Lake, and Lindale Lake Special Service Districts, all seeking approval for their 2025 proposed services and service charges. Again, these are the remaining 428A districts. 428A is a Minnesota state statute which grants municipalities the authority to establish special service districts by local ordinance. All special service districts before you today were established under that statute. Over the summer, we worked with the advisory boards to prepare budgets, review their assessment methodology for the year, and come up with an operating plan. These service charges would be collected on their 2025 real estate taxes in the same manner as special assessments. Each affected property owner, again, was mailed a notice of the public hearing in 10 days in advance of this public hearing. Also included in the mailing was a copy of the proposed operating plan and budget. Staff therefore recommends passage of the resolution approving the 2025 operating plan, special services, cost estimates, and the list of service charges for the coming year for 50th and France, 54th and Lindale, Bloomington Lake, Chicago Lake, East Lake, and the Lindale Lake Special Service Districts, and authorizing the Department of Public Works to proceed with the work. Lastly, I'd like to note that the combined budget cost estimate for these districts amounts to $706,400 in private investment within the Minneapolis public right-of-way. That concludes my presentation. Thank you.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for the presentation. We don't have anyone signed up for the public hearing. Is there anyone who wishes to speak on this item? All right, so seeing none, I will close the public hearing and ask if there are any other comments or questions from committee members. Seeing none, I'll move approval for this item. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? That motion carries. Okay, our final public hearing today is receiving public comments on the preliminary design plans for the route of the Blue Line Light Rail extension. Today's public hearing for the Blue Line Light Rail project will include a project summary to be presented by city staff. In order to allow for as much time as possible to hear from the public, testimony is limited to 2 minutes per person, and the staff presentation is brief. We have the room until 4 o'clock. That's why we have a time crunch. Staff will provide a more in-depth presentation on the project at the Intergovernmental Relations Committee next week on Tuesday, September 17th at 10 a.m. here in the same council chambers, at which time staff can respond to questions from council members, address questions raised by the public today, and continue the conversation. There are no actions associated with today's public hearing. Action on the Blue Line municipal consent will begin at the C&I committee on September 26th, followed by the full council on October 2nd. So with that, I'll welcome Jenny Hager and Meg McMahon to present on this item.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Madam Chair, committee members. My name is Jennifer Hager. I'm the Director of Transportation Planning and Programming for Public Works. Today I'll be making a joint presentation with Meg McMahon, who is the Planning Director in Community Planning and Economic Development. I do want to also acknowledge that staff from the Metropolitan Council and Hennepin County that comprise the project office for the Blue Line extension are present and in the audience today. Today is the city's public hearing on the Blue Line Extension Light Rail project as required by the municipal consent statute. Today, we will review the history of the project, what is included in the project in Minneapolis, and what the municipal consent process is, and also provide a brief overview of the areas of focus for the city in the preliminary design for the project. Looking ahead, Meg and I will be providing a more detailed presentation at the IGR committee meeting next Tuesday at 10 a.m. As the chair mentioned, that meeting will be broadcast for the public to view as well. The city has a long history with the Blue Line extension. We have been collaborating with our regional partners on this important transit improvement for over a decade. What we referred to as Blue Line 1.0 is the previous iteration of this project that was proposed to come into Minneapolis via the BNSF rail corridor, running roughly north-south along the western edge of the city, before turning east to run along Olson Memorial Highway and connect to Target Field Station. Municipal consent for the Blue Line 1.0 was granted by the City of Minneapolis and the other cities along the corridor back in 2016. And work progressed on that project until it was determined in 2020 that the project would not receive the required cooperation from the BNSF in order to proceed. In response, work began to identify and evaluate alternative route options in Minneapolis. And in 2022, a route modification report made the recommendation to pursue the West Broadway corridor alignment. In 2023, the Corridor Management Committee for the project recommended the currently proposed route along West Broadway, 21st Avenue North, Washington Avenue, and 10th Avenue North, which is the basis for the preliminary design plans now being considered for municipal consent. As it stands, this project is imperfect. It is not perfect, but we do believe that it is a worthy project and will continue to work to make it the best that it can be to serve the people and businesses along the corridor. Today's focus is to hear from the public on their thoughts and opinions for the proposed physical infrastructure, where the tracks are, where the stations are, and proposed street designs. Of course, an investment of this size cannot be talked about in only physical terms and must also consider the impacts to the community. We anticipate hearing about those concerns and opportunities as well, related to anti-displacement efforts, safety, and ideas the public may have for the project to bring even more benefit to the communities it will serve. Should the project receive municipal consent and be authorized to proceed in project development, detailed engineering design, station area planning, and the final supplemental environmental impact statement will occur in 2025. If all goes as planned, it is anticipated that people will be riding the Blue Line extension in about 6 years. This project is an unprecedented investment in transit in Minneapolis, and in particular, North Minneapolis. It will complete the current light rail system that Metro Transit operates. This $1 billion+ investment will bring fast, reliable transit service to North Loop and North Minneapolis and includes 5 planned transit stations. The city is requesting a 6th station be included with the project. This project and associated infrastructure investments will bring federal, state, and county resources to help the city achieve its mode shift, greenhouse gas reduction, and equity goals, and will offer convenient and safe ways for people to get where they need to go. If done correctly, this project will protect those who live and own businesses along the corridor and ensure they experience the benefits of the project without being displaced. It will provide more options for people to get around, help the city to reach its climate and equity goals, reconnect North Minneapolis to the Mississippi River across I-94, bring increased prosperity to residents along the corridor, provide service to an area of low car ownership, and advance efforts around Vision Zero with needed safety improvements and updated street designs, including greening in the public right-of-way. This project is about more than just tracks, trains, and stations. There are many miles of improvements planned in association with this project. Importantly, over 3 miles of high-injury streets will be reconstructed to be safer for all who use them, whether by walking, biking, taking transit, or driving. A new bridge over I-94 will provide a connection for all modes of travel and continue the proposed 21st Avenue North Transit Greenway closer to the Mississippi River. New sidewalks that meet existing design guidance and fill sidewalk gaps are included. There will be over 2 miles of protected bikeways built with this project. Other safety elements like curb extensions and medians will help ensure safety for people walking in the area, regardless if they are transit users or not. and many underground utility upgrades are also included. Service along the corridor will be 7 days a week, every 10 to 15 minutes. The extension will serve our highest transportation equity priority areas, bringing reliable transportation to those most in need. Nearly a mile of new transit greenways will be implemented on both 21st Avenue North and 10th Avenue North in North Loop. These transit greenways will be dedicated for those traveling without a vehicle, providing safe and efficient modes of travel. 5 stations are currently in the plan, and the city has been clear that a 6th station must be built at Washington and Broadway. Light rail is the backbone of our regional transit system. It moves the most people and connects riders to other transit services like local and rapid bus to provide quick and efficient mobility throughout the region. The Blue Line extension is the critical missing northern extension of the light rail network, connecting North Minneapolis and northwest suburbs to opportunities and services across the region. As planning for the Blue Line extension advances, a full corridor transit service study will occur to evaluate existing and planned local and rapid bus service and how those services can connect to the Blue Line. The project will attract thousands of riders in Minneapolis each day, providing valuable access for people who live and work along the corridor. For the 6 stations in Minneapolis, projected ridership ranges from 200 to over 800 rides per day. And within a 10-minute walk of these stations, the population served ranges from about 1,000 to over 5,000. The jobs within that same 10-minute walk range from about 1,000 to over 7,000. Ridership levels provided by the project office are derived from regional and national models and are most likely conservative estimates based on past experience with other projects and actual ridership numbers. Municipal consent for light rail projects is defined in Minnesota Statutes Chapter 473 and is focused on track alignment, including whether the track is at grade, elevated, or below grade, proposed bridges, structures, and crossings, and some roadway features such as traffic lanes, bike, and pedestrian facilities. Municipal consent aligns with what we more commonly refer to with our projects as concept layout, or about 30% design. There's quite a bit more work that goes into refining these preliminary designs into something that is constructible. Municipal consent must adhere to the defined timeline per statute. For us, that includes today's public hearing, followed by action by the C&I Committee on September 26th, the full council on October 2nd, and signature by the mayor prior to the deadline of October 10th. Municipal consent fits into a broader process and timeline for project development. For environmental review, the city recently commented on the draft supplemental environmental impact statement. The project office will now begin working on an environmental mitigation work plan and will publish the final supplemental environmental impact statement in mid-2025. That will be followed by a record of decision for the project. The city will have the opportunity to formally comment on the final supplemental environmental impact statement, including the environmental mitigation actions. For design, detailed design comments were submitted to the project office in April of this year, ahead of the issuance of the municipal consent drawings. Those detailed comments will be followed up with additional and updated comments that the staff team has put together after reviewing the municipal consent drawings. Staff will continue to participate in regular design-focused meetings with the project office and the city will have the opportunity to formally submit design comments at both the 60% and 90% design in 2025. Anti-displacement efforts are underway and being led by the project office in Hennepin County. Anti-displacement is of utmost importance, and Meg will be going into more detail on that in just a bit. The City Council has 3 options to consider in response to the municipal consent process. The city can approve and provide municipal consent, or the city can disapprove and provide specific amendments to the project that would cause the city to withdraw its disapproval. If no action is taken, the lack of action is assumed to be an approval of municipal consent. If the city disapproves and does not provide municipal consent, the list of requested amendments will be considered by the Metropolitan Council, who will ultimately decide whether any of the amendments will be made to the project. In considering the preliminary design plans and municipal consent, the city and the project office have heard from many stakeholders. We've identified 6 areas of focus related to municipal consent. These are by no means the only things that need to be focused on or the only concerns that remain. As stated earlier in this presentation, the project is not perfect, but we do feel that it is a worthy project. The Lowry Avenue station would serve both Minneapolis and Robbinsdale residents and provide access to jobs and destinations near the station and along the corridor, including nearly 4,000 residents and 2,900 jobs within a 10-minute walk. The station location is near North Memorial Hospital, which is one of the largest employers along the project corridor. The station is also located near the Grand Rounds and Victory Park. It is important that the design of this station is done correctly and in full consideration of the Grand Rounds and the park and historic resources of the area. Thus far, 7 alternatives have been developed and evaluated. A tunnel was looked at and deemed impactful and costly by the project office. A concept where the station would be elevated was opposed due to negative visual impacts, a lack of functionality, accessibility, and safety, and overall longer walking distances and travel times for those trying to access the station. The municipal consent drawings currently show a station that is at grade. This design integrates the station into the adjacent parkland and also requires the tracks to cross the Grand Rounds at grade. We know there are concerns regarding the impacts of an at-grade crossing of the Grand Rounds, and we are asking the project office to continue working with us, including Park Board staff, on design options for this station. In response to community feedback and to minimize impacts to the West Broadway commercial corridor, light rail will be routed on 21st Avenue between James Avenue and I-94. The project includes reconstruction of 21st Avenue, converting the existing roadway into a transit greenway with new sidewalks, a 2-way bikeway, and space for greening. There will be no vehicle lanes on 21st Avenue. Access to properties will be maintained along the north-south streets. To support existing and future businesses, connections to the light rail, and traffic safety, West Broadway will be reconstructed as part of the project from a 4-lane undivided roadway to a street with a lane of traffic in each direction and center turn lanes. There will be curbside parking in some areas, improved sidewalks, and space for greening. The north-south streets between West Broadway and 21st Avenue will be reconstructed to facilitate connections between the Transit Greenway and the West Broadway commercial corridor. More community engagement is needed to refine the street designs to best meet the needs of the community and to identify public realm design elements. This will happen as part of the final design process and in coordination with station area planning, where we will continue to engage with the community in developing a vision for this area. The municipal consent plans preserve space for a future station at West Broadway and Washington Avenue. As currently proposed, that station would not be constructed with the project. As previously stated, the city has clearly communicated that a station at Broadway and Washington Avenue is necessary and beneficial. A station at this location would support access to the area east of I-94, which has a concentration of industry and job opportunities, as well as new housing and development. It would support improved access from North Minneapolis across the highway to this area, as well as to regional destinations such as the Mississippi River, the Great River Road, and the Above the Falls Regional Park. Only providing tracks without a station would further the infrastructure divide between North Minneapolis and the Mississippi River that exists today. In the North Loop, the project is proposed to use Washington Avenue to 10th Avenue North to 7th Street, where it will interline with the existing light rail infrastructure at Target Field Station. Along 10th Avenue North, the street is proposed to be reconstructed and converted to a transit greenway, much like what is being proposed along 21st Avenue North. Because the street grid in the North Loop is somewhat irregular, the project is proposing to add new street connections. These include extending 9th Avenue between 5th and 4th Streets, extending 8th Avenue between 5th and 3rd Streets, and constructing a new signal at 8th Avenue and Washington Avenue, and a new loop connection between 3rd Street and 4th Street behind the North Loop parking garage. We have heard and share the concerns raised of the impacts this new loop has on the Twin Cities International School. We are working with the project office to better understand the problem that this connection is trying to solve, as well as other design solutions to provide access to the destinations north of 10th Avenue while reducing or eliminating the impacts to the school. Besides the need to maintain circulation with the neighborhood, we've also heard concerns regarding noise impacts of locating a train next to residential properties along 10th Avenue. Noise will be evaluated and mitigated through the environmental review process. A large transmission line under 10th Avenue that will need to be relocated. This will be addressed by the project. And concerns that the project will make future removal of the viaduct more difficult or even impossible. The project office has committed to making decisions on design that do not preclude future opportunities related to the viaduct, and starting to establish the underlying street grid in the neighborhood is helpful for any long-term plans around removing the viaduct. A critical part of investing in light rail is getting people to the stations. Unlike in other cities where the project will invest in park and ride facilities, our approach in Minneapolis is to focus on safe and convenient connections for people accessing the stations by walking, biking, and taking transit. We are working to include logical improvements to our transportation system that help the project meet its ridership goals and integrate better into the communities it serves. Improvements will include filling sidewalk gaps and reconstructing sidewalks with improvements to the public realm, making connections to our all ages and abilities bicycle network, evaluating transit service, including both existing and potential connections, and ensuring that stations are designed to coordinate with any future bus rapid transit service where applicable, and planning for future connections to other mobility options like scooters, shared cars, and mobility hubs.
Thank you, Jenny. I'm Meg McMahon, Planning Director in CPED. So experience has shown that investments in high frequency and fixed rail transit increase development interest. They don't necessarily create or induce development that wouldn't already occur, but development tends to gravitate towards these types of investments. First and last mile connections, which is how people and surrounding properties connect to and from the stations, are key to ensuring that areas of the city are not cut off from this investment and can fully benefit from it. This project is an opportunity to better stitch neighborhoods together if the appropriate connections are made across the LRT tracks and existing barriers such as major roadways and the viaduct. It's important to note that the project is still only at 30% design, and much of this work is yet to be done. The city will kick off station area planning next year, which is an opportunity to address the concerns about connections and how to leverage this investment fully. While there are very real economic and community benefits that investments in transit bring to communities, past experience has shown that investments of this kind cause harm too. Displacement, both physical and cultural, is an inherent risk which disproportionately impacts communities of color and low-income communities. That is why it is critical that intentional and directed efforts are put towards anti-displacement strategies now that will mitigate harms that the project might cause. The city has adopted policies to minimize displacement. Policies within our adopted Minneapolis 2040 comprehensive plan, our unified housing policy, and our anti-displacement policy. These call for investments in affordable housing, expanding home ownership, and the creation of living wage jobs. However, the city cannot do this alone. The Blue Line Extension project is a county and Metropolitan Council-led project. These lead agencies are responsible for implementing anti-displacement strategies related to the impacts of that project. The city's role is to support these efforts and elevate community-identified needs related to anti-displacement. There are direct impacts related to this project. The municipal consent plans that are before us today call for 34 building acquisitions and 27 relocations of tenants, which include households, businesses, and institutions along the corridor. The mitigation for this relocation will follow the Federal Uniform Act, and so impacted properties will qualify for assistance via federal funds. We also know that there will be construction impacts, site access, circulation, utility work that will occur during construction, and there will be disruption to businesses and access and operations during that time. And there will be operation impacts of noise and vibrations once the line is completed. There are also indirect impacts, economic impacts including increased property values, which can lead to increased housing costs, increased developer interest, which can lead to increased rents for small businesses, and potential cultural displacement and other gentrification impacts. Anti-displacement has been a consideration for this project for the past several years. In 2022, the county, along with other project partners, community members, and cities along the line, formed an anti-displacement work group. In May of 2023, the work group adopted 17 recommendations for anti-displacement strategies related to this project. The county was the lead on the work group, and in the spring of 2024, successfully advocated for the legislature to create the Anti-Displacement Community Prosperity Program, which created a board comprised of the members of the work group and allocated them $10 million in funding to support anti-displacement strategies along the corridor. The county is the lead agency supporting the board as they work through the process of adopting bylaws and determining their priorities for the use of the funding. The county has also formed an internal team focused on anti-displacement strategies above and beyond the work of the board. And as part of their work, last month, the county issued the Coordinated Action Plan for public comment, which outlines their plan for addressing and implementing anti-displacement strategies along the corridor. City staff have participated in this work from the beginning, including membership on the anti-displacement work group, in addition to establishing a formal internal process and team focused on anti-displacement strategies along the corridor, which I'll talk more about in a few minutes. The city also supported and advocated for legislative support for anti-displacement strategies. The city is a member of the ACPP board. The project itself, the project office, also has a focus on anti-displacement. The environmental impact process identifies potential impacts of the project, including economic and displacement impacts. And as part of completing and adopting the final supplemental environmental impact statement, the project will need to commit to mitigation strategies for these project timelines as well. Through participation in the anti-displacement work group and the ACPP board, through direct outreach with community stakeholders, and through an analysis of existing programs and policies, city staff have identified specific needs which the project should address as part of the county and Metropolitan Council-led anti-displacement strategy. City staff documented and analyzed existing programs and policies within the city with the goal of elevating issues or needs that are currently not being met, and identify opportunities that bridge the gap to meet desired outcomes from the work group's recommendations report. In interviews with CPED staff, our anti-displacement team asked questions about our programs, what was available, what's working, what isn't working, what are the needs and issues that exist that aren't currently being met, and what would need to happen in order to better serve our stakeholders and address anti-displacement outcomes. Through that process, we identified themes and created a prioritized list of needs that could make the most impact that were lower barriers to implement. Themes focused on supporting people, households, and businesses in building resiliency through the various phases of the project, and more specifically, themes around communication in advance of acquisition and construction, support for businesses and residents during construction, site control along the corridor, and long-term strategies to ensure existing businesses and residents benefit from the investment. In February of this year, the city provided the county and the project office with a list of identified needs related to anti-displacement strategies. The specific lists of items is laid out on the next two slides. But generally, the themes include continued leadership from the county and the Met Council, specific plans and communication strategies for acquisition, project timeline, people's property rights, and the construction impacts during the construction process, commitments for financial support for anti-displacement implementation, coordination with the city on an acquisition and relocation strategy for impacted properties in advance of project acquisitions, as well as specific needs related to identified stakeholders along the corridor. The city would expect a commitment from the county and project to address these needs as part of the city's support for municipal consent. Municipal consent is one step in a longer process, and it's not the final say from the city. Additional design iterations along the entire corridor will continue to be worked on. The city will have participation on the CMC committee, as well as ongoing participation and coordination with the project on our issues resolution team meetings. The city will collaborate and be able to comment on the mitigation work plan that comes out of the environmental impact statement. The city will also be kicking off stationary planning next year, which will be an opportunity for the city to lead with community engagement around visioning for each station area. The city will continue to collaborate and support on the anti-displacement work along the line through participation in the ACPP board, as well as directly with the county and the project. At this time, Jenny, myself, and our team would be happy to stand for any questions.
Thank you so much, Director Hager, Director McMahon. The main purpose for today is to have the public hearing, and we will have a broader discussion between council members next Tuesday. And so I'll just thank you for the presentation, and just to make sure that we can hear from everyone today, I'm going to now open the public hearing. Thanks. All right. So we have, I think, 20 to 30 people signed up so far. If you have not signed up for the public hearing, please see the clerks over here. And each person has 2 minutes to speak. Please state your name and your neighborhood. And I'll also ask that you refrain from applause or commenting on what someone else is saying for the purpose of respect and decorum in the chambers. Thank you so much. Okay, our first speaker is Floyd Beecham.
Greetings, council members. I am Assistant Pastor Floyd R. Beecham Jr. I'm with Faith Tabernacle Gospel Fellowship International, and we are located at 2025 Dr. Floyd R. Beecham Sr. Street in North Minneapolis. After the passing of my father, the community saw it fit that North 4th Street be named after him. I want to share some history concerning us. Faith Tabernacle was founded by my parents, senior pastors Dr. Floyd R. Beecham Sr. and Dr. E. May Beecham. We have existed for 37 years, and and our focus has always been about community. Due to the vision of my parents, the Hawthorne Council as it exists today was established and hosted in our church basement until it was able to stand on its own. We didn't stop there. Faith Tabernacle began sponsoring the Hawthorne neighborhood carnivals as means of outreach, demonstration of God's love for community. This happened over a period of 10 years with 1,000+ attending. We invited several agencies and organizations to these carnivals that allowed individuals access to services that was provided. We also sponsored National Night Out, clothing giveaways, Toys for Tots, and other services. This was free to the public and the surrounding communities. We completely understand the purpose of the Blue Line. However, there's some things that need to be addressed. As it stands right now, the Blue Line will severely displace Faith Tabernacle from the community we currently serve. That would be my time. That's all I have.
Thank you very much for your comments. Our next speaker is Garfield Clark.
Good afternoon. Pardon me. My name is Garfield Clark. It's 1235 Yale Place, Minneapolis. I am the chair of a company called Garfield Clark Commercial, and we develop, manage, consult, and I've been involved with Faith Tabernacle for 27 years. So it's been a long get-together. The building itself is located in the southwest corner of 21st and 4th Street, and it's about 15,000 square feet, 2 floors. And the parking for the facility is basically on 21st. And there is a hearse entrance on the back of the building, both of which will be removed by 21st light rail. And so it renders the facility essentially unusable in the way that it is currently structured. Furthermore, the light rail breaks the connection between the facility, the people, and the service area, which is essentially Hawthorne up to Lowry. So you're running Hawthorne from the freeway over to James Avenue and then up to Lowry. So it's a large area that is a principal service area for it. There's an awful lot of talk about the disassociation of this group, but the fundamental of it is that it is being broken from its community. It's being restricted for its use. We have had 2 meetings with the Met Council, Metro Transit, and Hennepin County in the facility. The staff people who come invariably sense the problem. They understand that it's actually taking the church out of its capabilities by the fact of what's going on there. There's not an opposition per se to the light rail going on 21st. It's the mere fact that the question of relocation or other support that might be required is simply not being applied in this case. They're not paying attention to it, even though the staff members all will privately in the facility acknowledge what's going to happen to the church. So it's well known amongst the people who have been there, but we don't get the...
Thank you very much for your comments.
Was that the 2 already?
That was the 2-minute buzzer.
Goodness.
Yes.
I only have 20 minutes more.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you for your
attention. Thank you so much. And if you do get cut off, remember you can always submit written comments and contact your council members too. Next is Angela Scott.
Greetings, council members. I'm Angela Scott. I'm one of the assistant pastors with Faith Tabernacle. We are a church that is, as you know, in the Hawthorne community. We are a body of Christ based on faith. We're deeply concerned regarding the light rail coming through the street of our church. Really, 21st Avenue is the back door of our church. We're concerned that it blocks us off from the community because there are services that we offer as a beacon of light, a beacon of hope. We offer free funeral services. We offer prayer throughout the week. We offer use of our facilities for free. We have a food shelf that not only provides food, but also health products for the community. We've been there for over 37 years, and we're concerned with the light rail being on our back door that our community will no longer have access into the building. They've got to cross over 21st Avenue, which again is going to be railroad tracks. We're also concerned that there's nowhere to park. We don't have a parking lot. What we used for parking was 21st Avenue, which again, the light will be running through. We're concerned regarding, we again offer free funeral services, but with the light rail, there's nowhere for the hearse to park. We're concerned on how do you run a funeral and a wedding when there is a train running through every 10 or 15 minutes. We're concerned from a safety perspective that our people do not have access out the back door. Most commercial buildings, you have to have 2 ways to enter and to exit. Well, the light rail is going to hinder our back door where we have exits. We're concerned regarding metro mobility for our constituents that are disabled. There's nowhere for the bus to park. So the light rail is not just about the community overall, but it's also about our ministry being able to provide the services that we have done for the past 37 years being negatively impacted by the rail. So we're just asking for consideration regarding those concerns.
Thank you so much. Next speaker is Anthony Lewis.
Greetings, Madam Chair, and everyone else on the board. I'm Pastor Anthony Lewis from Faith Tabernacle Gospel Fellowship International. I'm the associate pastor, and I'm here just to share some of the things that we do at the church as for the resources that we provide for the neighborhood, for the Hawthorne community. We do HIV, STI testing, education, mental health services, substance use services, including peer recovery, support, and training. Housing supervision services, including transition housing, housing consultation, transition support, and house stabilization services. Assistance with expungements, education on voting and assisting with getting individuals to the polls. Support groups for women who have lost loved ones to gun violence and or drug overdose. Counseling for individuals and couples. Weddings, funeral services, and most of all, spiritual guidance. 90% of these services are provided in kind because of the love that we have for the community. We are known as the church that provides these services, not the church that used to or did. We need the support of this office so we can continue providing services for the needs of the community. Don't let them railroad us or blue line us. God bless.
Thank you so much. Our next speaker is Ella Beecham. Welcome.
Greetings, council members. I am Dr. E. Mae Beecham, Senior Pastor of Faith Tabernacle Gospel Fellowship International. And I want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to speak with you today. Now, you have heard from several really of our pastors, and also a great friend of mine, Garfield Clark, and regarding the services that we provide and in the Hawthorne community, and also the North Side at large. We are being displaced, and it seems to be imminent, caused by the Blue Line's route, rendering our facility that's located on the corner of 4th Street and 21st Street Avenue. And as it has been said, causing our facility to be unusable. So we need you to know that we have been and are still very passionate and completely dedicated. We have dedicated our lives to the service that we provide in the Hawthorne community. And so what do we want from you today? We're asking you to not give approval. Do not give the city's consent to the Met Council until the Met Council agrees to make it possible for the church to relocate and fully establish itself inside the Hawthorne community. Do that now so that the church has time to find a place to rebuild itself without losing its connection to the community for even a day. And do it now so that the Met Council can arrange for funding to pay for the relocation and reestablishment of Faith Tabernacle Gospel Fellowship in the Hawthorne community.
Thank you very much. Next Thank you, Dr. Beecham. Next is Matt Bruns from North Loop neighborhood.
Madam Chair and council members, my name is Matt Bruns. I am here with support of my 30 neighbors at 918 Lofts, the 32 homeowners at Bassett Creek Lofts, and our 657 petition signatories. We first and foremost support great public transit. However, we have grave concerns with the current plan and encourage due diligence exploration of an alternate route for this project, one that maintains the benefits while reducing negative impacts and risks. The current plan closes a vital artery into and out of the North Loop and places light rail trains immediately next to our homes in the 100-year-old historic former Lavaris mouthwash factory. These are the homes we have invested our life savings in. Imagine trains passing directly outside of your living room, your kitchen, your bedroom, your children's rooms. Heavy rail projects like this pose significant structural risks when placed so close to historic buildings, as is evident by the Southwest Light Rail extension. We simply cannot afford this risk. There's a better route, one that continues along 7th Street, turns along I-94, and meets with North Washington Avenue just a few blocks from where it currently would. This is a route that will reduce travel time, eliminate the need for relocating the multi-million-dollar Excel transmission lines. It eliminates closing North 10th Avenue and the subsequent property acquisition and construction costs of building new roads and access ways. This allows residents, businesses, and emergency services to maintain uninterrupted operations. The route would move the station just a few blocks north on Washington and places it in an area that is ripe for transformation. This would maintain easy access to this great public transit, yet be the catalyst for development of affordable and deeply affordable transit-oriented housing. Bridging the gap between the North Loop and the North Side. We should be capitalizing on this investment and create infrastructure that can serve businesses and residents who want to grow and come into our neighborhoods, not just those of us who already live here. Given that this is an investment in the next 100 years, we owe it to ourselves and future Minneapolitans to take a step back, explore all options, and find a route that we can all be proud of. We need to make sure we do this right and not fast. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our next speaker is Ricardo Perez.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Ricardo Perez. I use he, him pronouns. I work in the sewer neighborhood and on the Corridor of Blue Line Extension project. I help staff the Blue Line Coalition. We're a team of 11 organizations who work across the Corridor of Blue Line Extension and the previously impacted neighborhoods in Minneapolis, like Harrison and Heritage. So just wanted to start with, why do we need anti-displacement? That's what I want to focus on. We know that this area of the city has been systemically impacted by racism. We were redlined. There are housing covenants that stop us from buying properties, and we were segregated from wealth and power building. Anti-displacement is pointing at a different direction on how we can invest in the Corridor of Blue Line Extension project. The corridor today is lacking a lot of infrastructure in order for us to be able to thrive. Our affordable housing needs renovation. People are currently being displaced due to increasing cost of rent and homeowner association fees. So anti-displacement funding and policy can present us solutions to these current issues, not issues in 5 years, but the issues that we're experiencing today. We helped co-produce a report with the University of Minnesota, and this year we went to the state capitol to secure $10 million with a $10 million match for anti-displacement activities. That's not nearly enough what we need to address the problem. So we're here to ask you for your help. The city can take a lot more proactive role on anti-displacement, not just by attending meetings, but by putting a holistic plan forward that includes policies, funding, and activities to help us prevent cultural, residential, commercial displacement. We're really excited about what anti-displacement can do. We have prioritized the spending that we want to do on anti-displacement to stabilize tenants, businesses, and homeowners today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next speaker is Carla Arredondo from the Jordan neighborhood.
Hello, everybody. My name is Carla Redondo. I'm the director of Pueblos de Lucha and Esperanza and a member of the Blue Line Coalition. I'm also a Northsider with roots, which take me back to elementary school, with relationships in these neighborhoods with the community who lives and goes to Ascension Church in North Minneapolis. I'm here in support of the Blue Line proposed project as long as anti-displacement is made a priority, because at Pueblos we believe all people are free to move, to stay, and to live without fear. When I first started working with the Blue Line Coalition, I knew very little about the Blue Line Extension project, but I was an expert in my community and about the neighborhood and its assets. To see the work of anti-displacement moving forward is an honor and a call for action. It's a reflection of the work we have all invested in making sure that this project does not happen to us, but rather we become co-creators. At the point in time when the alignment change from Highway 55 was being proposed, I found information which pointed at the fact that only 65 Spanish-speaking community members had been engaged. This for us was unacceptable. Nowadays, the Spanish-speaking community of Ascension Church at 18th and DuPont and St. Alphonsus in Brooklyn Park are included in our efforts of not only sharing the work we are doing, but invite them to co-create the solutions we are pushing forward. We are well aware that displacement has occurred along the previously planned route along Highway 55, and that we need to get ahead of planning processes in order to protect the community and allow us to participate in determining the future of the line and our communities. For us to consult community members who usually and historically have gone underrepresented is anti-displacement work, and our vision of abundance is shaped by those voices. The voices of mom who work multiple jobs to feed their families, to the people who are interested and hungry in growing their small businesses and expanding them. The city of Minneapolis needs to join us in our fight to secure investment and policy as a result of our efforts. This might not be your project, but this is your people in our community.
Thank you so much. Next speaker is Michael Martin from West Broadway. And I believe you are a Ward 7 resident.
That is correct.
Welcome.
You are my representative. So Chairman Cashman and other members of the committee, my name is Michael Martins. I live in the Bryn Mawr neighborhood. I'm on the Racial Justice Committee of Bryn Mawr. I have served on the ROC Committee, or Bassett Creek Redevelopment Oversight Committee, for over 10 years. And because of our efforts, there's been a lot of development in the Bassett Creek, including a number of affordable housing and market rate housing. I've attended the Upper Harbor Terminal meetings since they began in 2017. My first point is I hope that this committee and the full council will listen closely to the needs and concerns of the Black and BIPOC communities. And second, I would request that the City Council work with the police and fire department to hire a consultant to evaluate emergency response times if West Broadway goes from 2 lanes in each direction with parking to only 1 lane with no parking. ambulances going to drive on the light rail tracks or on the or on the sidewalk to get around cars that are in that one lane? And the golden hour is if you get a person with a heart attack onto an operating table within an hour of when the heart attack starts, the survival rate goes up significantly.
Thank you very much for your comments. Next up is Georgiana Yantos, also from the Hawthorne neighborhood.
Good afternoon. I know quite a few of you and follow all of you on LIMS. I recognize my councilperson, Ward 5, Mr. Ellison. My friend Latricia Vito, my friend Mike Rainville. I have a commitment to the Northside community. I'm a resident of Hawthorne. I'm a Block Club leader. I'm a Green Zone leader. This project is in the Green Zone. I'm a precinct chair. I was very instrumental in developing 26th Avenue North Bikeway Greenway with Beco Associates and Bill Smith. I have served 27 years on the Bicycle Advisory Committee, and I'm a part of the Great Northern Greenway. I have some concerns. I have a concern that 21st Avenue will displace residents, take down their housing, that the jobs that possibly it could bring for a construction company will only be temporary. That the children who go to classes on West Broadway at Robinson's dance studio will be endangered because the parking will be removed, and that bridges that will be built, we already have many bridges. I'm wondering. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much. Next is Andrew McGlory. Welcome.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Andrew McGlory. I'm an architect. I have an office on Broadway, 1007 West Broadway. It's Architect McGlory Studio. And I have attended many meetings concerning the Blue Line. And one of the things I want to make clear, I'm not here to stop the Blue Line, nor to delay the Blue Line. But what I have observed in the various meetings that I've been in is that there's two major questions that haven't been answered. And one of the frustrating things is that every time at the meeting, we tell them to come back with the answer, and they again don't have the answer. And the two major questions is this that I always hear. We already have a parking problem on Broadway. So how are you going to correct that when in fact you're eliminating parking? If we already have a parking problem, and every time they never come back with an answer. So what I'm suggesting is that they come with an answer. I myself think the most simple thing is that you do the same thing they did at Plymouth and Penn. You build a garage. So what I'm suggesting is that we at least have a minimum of 2 parking garages, so every time someone come to this meeting and say what they're going to do about parking, it's not an issue. And then the second thing that always comes back is that I don't want to be displaced. I don't have to leave the neighborhood. We have so much vacant property, not only owned by private people, but also the city. There's no reason. And there are so many vacancies. Even the Sherman Associate Shopping Center is 50%. So basically what I'm saying is that we should have a zero displacement policy, that no one that wants to stay on Broadway, that is not an issue, and that we would guarantee that. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Next speaker is Donna Sanders. Thanks. Can you state your neighborhood as well?
Madam Chair, council members, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Donna Sanders, and I am the business specialist with the West Broadway Business and Area Coalition. I am currently on the BLRT Business Advisory Committee, and I have been doing outreach directly to the businesses on West Broadway since September of 2022. I have gone door to door from the day I started at West Broadway Business Coalition, asking the businesses what they think of the LRT. I've invited them to come to your meetings. And we have also attended many, many BLRT meetings put on by the BLRT staff. And I've got to piggyback on what Mr. McGlory said. Many times we've asked questions repeatedly and have not been answered. There's a lot of ferocious note-taking and a lot of nodding, but no answers are given. So the consensus that I have gotten in the neighborhood from the faith centers, the nonprofits, the residents, and the businesses, that 85% of them are against the LRT going down West Broadway. We need more information before you vote yes to the municipal consent. One point is the details on the direct impact to the buildings on West Broadway and the apartment buildings. We have been given no details. We have asked repeatedly how much are you going to expand the street? And we have not been answered. I just heard today that there's 34 buildings coming down. That's news to me, and I've been active. We need more details on how these buildings are going to be impacted and how the people that live on West Broadway are going to be impacted. And I'm going to, parking's an issue too.
Thanks so much. Next speaker is Christelle Porter, also from West Broadway Coalition.
Good afternoon. I would like to thank you, Chair Cashman, and all of the council members that are here today, and for giving me a chance to speak today. My name is Christelle Porter, and I am a resident on 23rd and Thomas, just 2 blocks off of West Broadway and Penn Avenue. But I am also, even though I'm a resident, I'm coming to you representing the West Broadway Business Association as the executive director. After speaking to hundreds of business owners and residents, these are the 4 things that we need to be in place before moving this project forward. We need a definitive route and a solid timeline for completion. Number 2, we need a project that is funded equal to the percentage of the route that we are voting for right now, including policy that supports current residents and business owners. Number 3, we need transparency about property tax implications and how it will impact property owners and commercial and residential renters. And lastly, we need a safety plan that ensures the safety of passengers, pedestrians, bicycle traffic, motorists, and safety vehicles. After talking to 2 different firefighters that live in North Minneapolis, one of them the assistant chief, they would not be able to get their ladder truck on Broadway to be able to serve a fire in one of those buildings. there would not be enough room to anchor that truck down. We need to pump the brakes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next speaker is Dean Rose, Jordan neighborhood.
Madam Chair, committee members, I want you to know that I'm supportive of mass transit options in our community, as evidenced by my service on the Patton Avenue Community Works Project on behalf of then City Council President Barb Johnson that brought bus rapid transit to North Minneapolis, including an integrated BRT station at Broadway Flats on the corner of Broadway and Penn in 2016. With that said, I have serious concerns about the negative impacts of an at-grade LRT route that it will have on the commercial corridor serving North Minneapolis for the past century. This route was originally vetted and rejected almost a decade ago by our city leadership due to the narrow width of West Broadway and high level of vehicular traffic that serves the economic engine driving the success of West Broadway. There are a variety of problems with the LRT route currently, and I will address that with you in writing next week specifically. What I do need this committee to focus on is how revitalization efforts for West Broadway have been driven by the community-based plan of the West Broadway Live plan developed back in 2006, supported by thousands of residents, businesses, neighborhood groups, and even city and county government that envision preserving Main Street USA for the West Broadway area. That plan has helped developers, businesses, and residents successfully bring over $120 million of development over the past decade to West Broadway. The proposed LRT line now threatens our Main Street concept that will turn West Broadway Avenue into a bifurcated corridor with little opportunity for our community to enjoy the rich heritage and of a vibrant commercial corridor where we can gather, play, and work as one. Hennepin County and Met Council have pushed this route in a manner that does not allow for alternatives to be explored that offer better service options, less cost, and less disruption to our community, like the Southwest Light Rail line, because they have more land available. Our community deserves more thoughtful planning and options that preserve and protect our rich history. We need you to be strong leaders for our community and push back against Met Council and Hennepin County to say no to light rail as proposed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, next is Connor Carroll from Ward 8. Connor. All right, there's Connor. Thanks.
Thank you, Chair Cashman and council members. My name is Connor Carroll. I'm here to speak in favor of the preliminary design for the Blue Line extension. I'm a 10-year resident of Minneapolis, and I feel really invested in the success of the city and all of its residents. So the Blue Line extension really checks a lot of boxes for me, and I think it's the best design we've seen so far. We need public transit solutions like this that help people get to their destination safely, address climate change, and serve the most people possible. A couple years ago, I used to live in an area of South Minneapolis less than 1 block away from the light rail, from the Blue Line, and it was great to live so close to a transit option. I was less than 1 block away, very easy to get to, and the fact that the train can safely handle our icy Minnesota roads in the winter with basically no delays is a really important thing, I think, in our state. And I think the people from the North Side and the North Loop in Minneapolis deserve this too. In a densely populated area like the North Loop, I don't think we should be worrying about the effect of car parking and traffic in that area. I think in the North Loop especially, there should be fewer cars. Cars, I think, are the least efficient and the least safe way to move people through the community, and we should fully be supporting projects like the Blue Line extension to make our streets safer. So in conclusion, I think the Blue Line extension will give people a real alternative to driving a car or taking a bus ride with many transfers, a one-seat ride along this corridor for work and recreational trips that is safe and accessible for all. And I urge the Minneapolis City Council to vote to approve the preliminary design plans. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next is Shara or Shauna Salas from Brooklyn Park. Welcome.
Hello, my name is Shua Salas, and I'm a program manager at African Career and Educational Resources, or ACER, and I'm a partner of the Blue Line Coalition. The BIPOC community is strongly entrepreneurial, and the evidence of that is clearly clear by the number of micro businesses that are spread across the Twin Cities. These businesses bring with them rich cultural heritage and are a pivotal part of the Minnesota economy. Despite the value BIPOC business owners add to the community and the economy, most of them do not own their brick and mortar locations that they are operating out of. This unfortunately leaves them in a very vulnerable position, and tenant business owners often pay very high rent for the spaces that they're leasing. On many occasions, if the rent is reasonable, the spaces are not up to code, and this raises major safety concerns. BIPOC business owners are in areas susceptible to displacement often face challenges due to the lack of ownership in the spaces they occupy. With the potential expansion of infrastructure like the Blue Line, there's a heightened risk of displacement. Without ownership, these tenants can be evicted or forced out of the properties that they're in. And this is extremely detrimental for business owners. There are numerous benefits to shared ownership models for entrepreneurs. Firstly, this model helps lend increased leverage to the business owners as they own their location and have a buy-in in the property. They gain control over the site of the operation and have greater financial stability. Furthermore, this model also helps establish generational wealth. It's important to note that models of community ownership are not a new concept in BIPOC communities. Africans have a name called Susu for it, and other BIPOC communities also use this informal loan group or pooling of money to get resources. And so it's our belief that this not only addresses immediate displacement threats, but also cultivates economic empowerment and resilience within BIPOC communities. And these models offer a sustainable pathway towards urban development and economic justice along transportation corridors like the Blue Line extension.
Thank you so much. Next, we have Wayne Kassman from Minneapolis, Ward 4. Wayne Kassman. Welcome up. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Council. Thank you, Chairperson. My name is Wayne Kassman. I live in the Victory neighborhood, 4th Ward. I have heard a lot of good arguments today, a lot of good questions and concerns that I hadn't even thought of before. As I said, I live in the Victory neighborhood, and I would be nearly a mile and a half from the closest train station, so I probably will never use the light rail, and I don't know that any of my neighbors will, so it will be of no benefit to us. I do advocate the use of public transportation. I am in favor of public transportation, and I am a regular user of the C and the D lines of the bus rapid transit. We really love having that in our neighborhood, and that I will continue to use. Some of my concerns include the cost. On the chart that was presented today, talking about the population in the neighborhood, there's about 20 to 30,000 people that will be served. My question would be, would this money that will be used to build this train, will that really be the best use of our money for future generations, or are we spending a lot of money like we have heard about in the Southwest Light Rail expansion? We've heard a lot about displacement today. I'm very concerned about my friends and neighbors that live in North Minneapolis that will be greatly inconvenienced by this project. Another concern that I have involves the placement of the Lowry Avenue station and the trains across the parkway. I'm concerned about public safety, bicycles in that area, families with children crossing the train tracks. And my question would be, is this something that would be allowed to exist in South Minneapolis?
Thank you for speaking today.
You're welcome. Thank you for allowing me.
All right, next we have Brad Carlson from New Brighton. Welcome.
Thank you. I moved to the Twin Cities about 6 years ago from the Chicago metro area, where I relied on Chicago Transit Authority buses and trains for years, both for work and also for personal use. I have a suggestion to eliminate this problem of displacement while also saving taxpayers hundreds of millions of dollars, providing environmentally sound solution for this, and that is electric buses made in St. Cloud, Minnesota, would take and use currently existing streets. You will save hundreds of millions of dollars. You will get rid of the displacement problem. It will be environmentally responsible. You will be getting rid of cars on the streets. You won't have the parking problem. I think in so many different ways it'll be low-cost transportation. I just see that as, especially as having lived in the Chicago area for 38 years, it seems to me that this could be a very, very practical solution for the issue of transportation from Minneapolis to Robbinsdale and back. So that is my suggestion, is use electric buses on currently existing streets and don't bother with the light rail. The Twin Cities have already had problems with cost overruns with light rail systems. This would be far more cheap, this would be cheaper, and far more practical.
Thank you, Brad. Next we have Dan Rice from West Broadway.
Thank you, council members. My name is Dan Rice. I'm a business owner. I own a restaurant called Bar Brava. It's at the intersection of Washington and Broadway. My biggest concern is this recent push for a new stop at the intersection of Washington and Broadway, which is, according to different sources, the 4th or 5th busiest intersection in the state. An at-grade stop at this station would cause an untenable level of traffic. On top of this, I picked that location because of the street parking. We rely on street parking for our customers who arrive at our restaurant by car. This is, after all, Minnesota, where 6 months out of the year we have very harsh weather conditions. Although I'm for a lot of public transportation, it seems that this current proposal doesn't really address all the issues that have been brought up today, mainly parking and displacement. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. Next we have Daylon Prochaska. Daylon Prochaska. All right, let's go to Kathy from Lynn Park. All right, while we're waiting for Daylon and Kathy, is there a second Michael Martin here? Not Michael Martins, but Michael Martin. I'm wondering if there was a double up on this name. Oh, here's Kathy. Welcome, Kathy.
Hi there. Can you hear me fine? And I got my steps in from the overflow room.
Great.
Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you, Council. I'm Kathy Knightsky. I'm from Lynn Park. I've lived there 30 years. I just looked that up. I've lived there for 30 years. I want to thank the council, the members here, for being representatives of and for the people. As I was sitting listening, I realized the mammoth jobs that you fulfill for us people, for the people, of the people. And I do appreciate that. One of the things I noticed, I'm revamping, I hope it's going to be very brief. I heard a lot of people speak ahead of me. I heard some of you people speak, people back here. And I was really encouraged that us as humans have a heart and we lead with our heart. We make decisions with our heart. Yes, we use data, we use teams, we use all of the above that we've heard about today that go into this consent for the blue line. I'm asking the council, and when you make your decision to say no, that you have decided that in your heart, not everything is up to par, and that perhaps amendments can be made that would benefit all. I've heard the physical design. We need more heartfelt decisions in there. We need, with the anti-displacement, we need some more heart-centered there. We also need more heart-centered for the businesses and the residents of the community that it serves. Thanks again for your time. Thanks again for your service.
Thank you, Kathy. Okay, we have a name that I can't quite read. It's St. Omer is what I can read, and it's the organization FT6FI. Are you here? All right, if you're here, we can come back to you. The next person I also can't read very well, but it's Amber, and last name starts with a C. Amber? Apologize for that. If you're here, please come up and we'll get you in queue. All right, we do have like 35 more minutes in the room and 9 people on this list, so going to be a little strict with the 2-minute warning. Next is Tom Canfield from North Loop.
Greetings, Chairman, and greetings, council members. Thank you so much for giving myself the opportunity to speak today. I represent the Salvation Army Adult Rehabilitation Center, and we're located in the North Loop neighborhood at 900 North 4th Street. We are a residential, long-term rehabilitation center for men who struggle with drug and alcohol addiction. And we've been in this location for over 80 years. We've served tens of thousands of people in our community. We're a 200,000 square foot facility, 145-bed residential rehab facility. We also have 350 employees. And we finished a significant $38 million renovation in 2022 to better serve our community, to give safety, and to give dignity and respect to those who are seeking recovery. We are 100% self-funded. So some of you may have walked into a Salvation Army thrift store. That's how we fund this program. And we have 2 stores located on the corner of 4th and 10th that will be directly impacted by the Blue Line project. Over 30% of our annual budget that funds this program comes from those 2 stores on the corner of 4th and 10th. We serve our community through cost-effective shopping. We support our program. We serve our community through vouchers, recovery meetings, and worship. Shutting down 10th Avenue will have a negative impact and threatens the existence of our program. We have history with projects like this. Green Line went down University Avenue. We lost a thrift store because of the negative impact that that had. We could not stay open during the construction of the Green Line. And so the project, we feel, is being rushed. We're asking that we do this project right, that we put on the brakes, slow down, and look at alternate routes.
Thank you for your comments. Next is Diane Robinson from West Broadway. Diane Robinson. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Diane Robinson. I have two buildings on West Broadway. One, I house a nonprofit dance studio. And what my concerns, I've been there 34 years, and the city has, or Hennepin County has continually taken parking away. Taking parking away on Penn, taking parking away on Broadway. You only can park on one side. And now, with this blue line coming through, you guys are going to take the parking lot away with the neon businesses coming in. I think there's no considerations that our business bring people in from the suburbs. We don't just cater to North Minneapolis. So they don't have the opportunity to catch the train because they're on a time limit. They have to pick up their kids, bring them to the dance, run errands, and everything else. I know those of you guys who have kids know if you're taking them to sports, you're not going to get on the train. You're not going to get on the bus because you have a minimum amount of time to get your kids to their programs. And I think there's no consideration for the businesses, how it's going to impact the building, how it's going to affect the construction of the building. There's no consideration. All I see is that they want the blue line to go down for transportation, but how is it affecting businesses? Because if we go out of business, because we have no accommodation for our customers because they can go to the suburbs, and they have parking out in the suburbs. So you have to consider that when people are running businesses, they need certain things. I know you want to go all green, but you're never going to go all green. First of all, people don't want to just walk around North Minneapolis because we're already dealing with the negative impact that is a high crime area. So they're not going to just walk around to get to your business or jump on a train. And then the other problem you have is they're not solving the problem that they already have with people doing drugs on that. You're putting a station. Well, my time is up. I had a lot to say. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Do you want to come up? Maybe I read your name already, or if you're not in the back, Amercox or Saint Omer or Dalon Prochaska. And you can come up to the lower table with the other microphone. Please state your name and neighborhood.
I'm Lynn Lehman from Clipper Cuts Plus Hairstylist. I'm just a couple doors down from Diane, the dance studio. I've been there for 40 years. And the West Broadway Area Coalition, Christelle and Donna, if they weren't helping me, I couldn't still be there because we've been through too much drama and all these killings that are going on. So I am against the transit only because I have no parking. There's no place for me to park, and Neon's coming across the street from me, and that's gonna take up the parking that people park when they're not on the street. So if we had a ramp in the back, and then they'd have to build a bridge over Broadway, which is a lot of money. They've gotta find a different location, a different way of allowing our people to still park on Broadway. And because where are my clients going to park? I've got lawyers, I've got a lot of businesses in my storefront, and I've got an apartment, and I have a lot of people that need to come in the business. And we deal with mostly elderly people. And I was hit by a drunk man head on, and that slowed me down a lot. And a lot of elderly people, disabled people, they can't do all that walking. So we have to keep an eye on the people being able to get to our businesses in a short way, not walking from the corner where they're going to have a bus transit depot all the way down to me, because they're not going to come, and especially with us getting snow in the wintertime. And then Diane said everything that I would say if I could, remember all that, and Christelle and Donna, because I have a closed head injury, so they did all of my speaking. Okay, so everything Christelle and Donna said, and Dean Rose from the liquor store, And Diane, I am for everything that they said. Okay?
Thank you,
And
Lynn.
I just wanted you to know, that, I'm here with the help of my manager in the wheelchair, but, I want you guys to think about, taking
Thanks for
away
your
our
comments.
customers. Okay? Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Next is Brad Schaefer from the North Loop, 900 North 3rd. Brad? Welcome.
Had to run. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to speak this afternoon. I will try to stay in my 2 minutes. You'll force me to stay in my 2 minutes. We've been a major contributor to what has become the North Loop. Our company started there 27 years ago. We have created 727 homes in the North Loop, 153 of which are for low-income people, rent restricted and income restricted. We have created over 700,000 square feet of commercial property. We have built over 400 structured parking stalls to free up land for development, land for a North Loop Park, and we've created our company has 120 employees, 90 of which are in Minneapolis and 70 of which are in the North Loop. So we are very vested in the North Loop. We've had a big role in creating the North Loop. And our concern, and Mike Bruns from 918 Loft said it very well, we're concerned that 10th Avenue just isn't a very good option. It is a 62-foot wide right-of-way with high-density housing on both sides of it. There's heavy electrical infrastructure underneath it, and we're concerned about the impact on traffic. We're concerned, putting 8th through is also going to impact another high-density affordable housing project by putting 8th Avenue through as a replacement to 10th. We're worried about it cutting off the west end of the North Loop and really making it very difficult to ever see development in that area because the train will act as a barrier. So, our real message, and you've heard it several times, is this is a 100-year investment. This is a $3 or $4 billion investment. Let's not try to be fast. And by the way, we found out about this less than a year ago when we got a letter about vibration monitoring. We knew nothing about the 10th Avenue route as recently as a year ago. Slow down, let's get it right, because there are other options that the Met Council, if they've studied them, they haven't shared their information with us, that we think are far less impactful on the North Loop and still accomplishes their goals. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brad. Next we have Jara Al-Hassan from Jordan neighborhood. Welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, City Council members. I'm a 23-year resident of the Jordan neighborhood. Right now, as it stands, the light rail will come within 3 blocks of my home and with practically into the backyard of where my 2 grandchildren live, ages 10 and 12, over at the Lowry Station. My concerns are not only for safety, but for sound, noise, and the ground itself is unstable because it's on top of what's called karst, which is limestone with underground caverns, streams, and the ground itself is just unstable, prone to sinkholes. So keeping that in mind. Also, I've recently discovered that the emergency vehicles have to wait for the train to go by. They do not have the right-of-way for emergency vehicles, and narrowing Broadway to 1 lane on each side without even emergency vehicles being able to access the buildings for even fire or having to wait for a train because somebody is having a heart attack is going to make it very, very hard for people to get the services that they need. There's also nothing in the plans for sensors in the intersections for an obstruction on the road. Like if somebody in a wheelchair or in a motorized scooter or buggy gets caught on the road, I'm a disabled person myself, and if I use something like that, I get caught on the road in the wintertime, who's gonna help me get off them tracks before that train comes barreling through, before I get smashed? There's nothing to alert the conductor showing that there's an obstruction on the road. A parking also. I've lived over there for 23 years. most of the businesses over there I don't use because there's no sustainable parking for me. It's hard for me to walk to places. It's hard for me to just even use public transportation because of the walking that is involved getting from like a train to a bus. There's no benches for me to sit on. The crime along these routes is really bad. I don't want to expose my grandkids to those things.
Thank you for your comments. Next, we have Anika Robbins from the 5th Ward.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of council. Thank you for the time. I will try to edit as I go. The one who plants trees knowing that they will never sit in their shade has at least started to understand the meaning of life. So while a lot of the comments and concerns that have been aired, that we've heard so far are valid indeed, and there has been many conversation around it, it's really an idea of not throwing out the baby with the bathwater. These should not be reasons not to bring transformative, innovative transportation systems to our ever-growing, ever-evolving city. In Hennepin County, on average, every year, over 6,000 to 15,000 people relocate to the Twin Cities area. Most of the people who will be using transportation are our youth, some of our seniors, folks who don't have driver's licenses. So I'm a car owner, I'm a property owner, I'm a resident, a 6th generation Minnesotan, 30 years on the north side. I live in the 5th Ward with my husband, our family. We need the blue line, but we need to be able to address and mitigate many of the issues that we've heard. Hennepin County and the anti-displacement group have raised $10 million, plus an additional $10 million to be matched. There have been efforts to explore additional fundraising opportunities. I'm part of a group called the Dream Team. Myself, Brett Buckner, and Stad Allen, with One Minnesota and our respective groups. And we convened a group of Northsiders, residents, business owners, youth, seniors, members of our disability community, and they raised these very concerns, but they didn't stay there. They allowed themselves to dream and come up with solutions, and we encourage you to work with, stay at the table, and come up with those solutions and not throw this life-changing transportation system to our communities.
Thank you so much. And that's a fabulous necklace as well. Next is Lolita Davis Carter, also from the 5th Ward, an organization called CMAH. Would love if you could spell that out.
I'm not here to represent my organization. I'm here to represent me being a resident of the 5th Ward. I want to thank you, Chair, and all the chair members. I appreciate your time and all your work that you have done. I want to bring a different aspect to this whole conversation. And the aspect that's happened around the community at our tables is, this is just like slavery. They had us live out in the fields, but work into the city. So when you think about your planning and your development and why it could be so hostile, because that's that generational experience that's been passed down from generation to generation to generation. My great-grandparents told me a story. My grandmother told me a story. And now my parents is telling me a story, the one that is still living. So as you make this decision, I'm not saying don't do it. I'm not saying do it. I'm just asking you to think of the human aspect and why it could be so hostile, because it's the way it's set up. So think about the human aspect when you're making your decisions, because we are human and we do have feelings, and we love the city of Minneapolis and we love the state of Minnesota, or we wouldn't be here and we wouldn't be passionate about what we're talking about today. So I thank you for your time, and I thank you for everything that you do, Mr. Ellison. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for being here. So I have 2 more folks listed here. I just want to give like a last call for Daylon Prochaska, Michael Martin, Saint Omer or Amer C. And then the last two that I have here are Crystal Brown and then Fred Mosel. So welcome up, Crystal. Or any of the other names that I listed that haven't spoken yet. Come on up.
Hi, my name is Anna Cortez. I don't know if it's right.
Thank you for
but
correcting that.
I'm a member of Faith Tabernacle, and they are a wonderful church to go to. And I live in St. Paul, so I have to travel on trains to get here to Minneapolis. But I oppose the blue line because it's running through the neighborhoods in Minneapolis. I used to be a Minneapolis resident a long time ago, but I'm here for our church and for the people who live in, in Minneapolis. I've been riding these trains, buses, and they're not safe at all, period. There's drugs, there's crime, and I'm afraid to catch these buses to get here, or trains. So I'm hoping that you decline the light rail going through Minneapolis. Thank you, and have a nice day.
Thank you, Ann. Fred Mosel.
Hi, folks. My name is Fred Mosel. I live in Ward 3 in the North Loop. First, thank you all for your service. I appreciate it. One of the topics that's bothering me is these unrestricted access to these stations with the existing infrastructure and what's planned. You hear the message, please do not hold the doors open. It may damage and cause delays. And I just wonder how many of these folks are doing this that are riding without tickets. You need to put the rail lines in areas of demand. I'm sure that this has been studied to death, but I wanted to bring it up again. And this is a note, I don't know when you're going to go to vote, but please look at the Minneapolis history of the interurban rail lines because the original tracks are buried underneath the streets. We're reinventing the wheel, and someone needs to take a look at the history. Thanks, folks.
Thank you so much, Fred. Is there anyone else who has not spoken yet? If so, now is your time to come up for 2 minutes. Just give it a minute if there's anyone else in the overflow room. Come on up, and please tell us your name and neighborhood.
Thank you. My name is Pine Salica, and I live in the Phillips neighborhood. Wasn't planning on talking, but since y'all have a couple extra minutes, might as well. Just wanted to speak in support of the train existing. I sure would like to be able to access West Broadway. Currently, I really am quite isolated from that neighborhood and can't, visit the area, immerse myself in the culture of that area, and I wish that I would be able to. And I don't have, I certainly would drive there, but I'd love to take a train there and spend some time. So let me in. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Welcome on up to the folks who have just joined. If you want to speak for 2 minutes on the Blue Line extension, you can come on up and state your name and neighborhood. Last call for the public hearing. Come on up if you'd like to speak.
The best for last, right?
That's right.
Everybody knows me. My name is Candy Bacon. I live in Heritage Park. I'm a Heritage Park resident. I'm a fourth-generation Minnesotan. I have been a part of this project for the last 20 years, since they came to me and told me in Heritage Park, oh yeah, we're gonna block Broadway and make you drive around. I said, oh no, you're not. So a lot of the project staff, of course, know me. People know me. I don't cut my tongue. I tell it like it is. And I'm the one for the party train, okay? I want a disco ball and a party train when I get old so I don't have to drive and I can go to a bar and gamble and then go back home. I'm looking for like this for the future for my kids who do not want to drive, and I don't know why, because I want to teach them. But this is an opportunity for the future. Not only is it an opportunity for the future, we want to make sure all voices are heard and respected. And nobody, I'm part of the anti-displacement also. So I don't want anybody displaced. I want people to stay in the neighborhoods that they are. And I know this is going to sound strange, but I got one of the most coolest opportunities when I was younger to ride a light rail from Pomona, California to downtown LA, and then be able to take a bus any which way I was going. So it's like, you guys are slow. Come on, let's get on this. We are behind other cities, and we have to do it the right way. We have to invest in the right things and make. I used to work at Knott's Camp Snoopy, and one of their principles is the customer is always right, and you go above and beyond to please the people at the time. And that's how I view life. And that's what I want from y'all, is to make sure when you go to vote that you take everything in consideration, everything's the way you want it, and
Thanks.
It's all good.
Thanks for closing us out. Okay. Please see the clerks to sign in. All right. With that, we are going to close the public hearing. I want to thank everyone for coming to speak today, and remind everyone that we will have another presentation and further discussion on Tuesday, September 17th at 10 a.m. in the same location. And yeah, we definitely have time for questions and comments, and I will prioritize our North Side council members at this time and call on Jeremiah Ellison.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to keep it short because, again, we are going to have a more robust conversation about the particulars and the nitty-gritty, but I did want to thank everyone who lives along the route and who doesn't, who came here to speak on this. I've been at these meetings, been at the table with the project team, with community, was a part of a really difficult conversation about moving the route at one point to make sure that it didn't cut right through Lindale and the neighborhood there, and so this has been a journey, and to me, prioritizing anti-displacement is absolutely sort of at the top of my priority. And so the folks at Faith Tabernacle, thank you for coming here to inform us about what you're experiencing there, and I'm happy to engage with you all and help maybe bridge this conversation with the project team as well. And so look for my follow-up there. We're tasked with a really difficult challenge here, right? On one hand, we know that ridership of public transit is the highest in North Minneapolis, and yet we don't have the most state-of-the-art, the most innovative infrastructure. This would bring that, but what good is the best infrastructure if it displaces you? You still can't use it. And so that is what we're trying to square here. We deserve the infrastructure, but not at the expense of our livelihood, not at the expense of our neighborhood and culture. And so that's what we're trying to square. I really appreciate you all coming out here. We're not taking this vote today, but I can assure you that those of us who represent the route and all my colleagues are going to be diligently reviewing your notes, talking with the project team and talking with our staff about how we can achieve the best possible outcome, not just mitigate harms. I feel like I've learned that from Candy and other folks on the anti-displacement work group, not just mitigate harms, but have this be something that can generate prosperity on the north side. If it's not that, then we deserve that at least. And so I just wanted to thank you all for coming out and giving your testimony, and I look forward to further conversation with my colleagues.
Thank you, Councilmember. Next is Councilmember Vita.
Thank you, Chair Cashman. I too just wanted to say thanks to all the Northsiders for coming today. I appreciate seeing all of you here, the residents, business owners, and visitors. I know someone said, let them in. You're welcome. You can come in anytime you want. We welcome you on the north side. Also, I'm listening to everything you are saying today and that you said to me for many, many years. This isn't a new project to us. A lot of us have been working on this project for at least a decade. So I hear you, I see you, and when I make the decision, it is going to, I'm going to still be able to go to the grocery store and see you all in the neighborhood. So thank you all so much today for spending time here with us at the council and voicing your opinions.
Councilmember Rainville.
Thank you. So very briefly, I do see some county staff in, and is there any Metro Transit, the project office? No, they must have all left. And I see the park here. So here's what I heard today. In addition to my ongoing concerns over what happens going through the North Loop to those viaducts, that's about 14 acres of land that is not being developed right now underneath those viaducts. That is the most desirable land to develop in the upper Midwest. And how do we protect that when those viaducts go away? So that design going down 10th and how it interacts with those viaducts is a necessity going forward. We're all going to be dead and gone when that happens, but we make sure that people can stand on our shoulders because we're making a good decision. Also, this economic loss. I talked to the residents last night from 918. Matt, are you still here? There you go. You're hiding behind the pillar. And the Bassett's Creek loss. They are going to suffer. People are trying to sell those condominiums as we speak, and they can't sell them without taking a loss. So how do we compensate them? It's a different twist on Councilmember Ellison's displacement speech, but it's still there. Park Board, love to hear what is the official position for the Park Board about this at-grade crossing of this parkway. This is, we all know about the problems you're having over on the southwest line. But new today is this emergency vehicles on West Broadway. Is it true that the fire department cannot bring a ladder truck down West Broadway, put out the stabilizers, and serve as a fire? Is that true? And just the whole idea of crossing West Broadway, whether it's an emergency vehicle or a child going to the different nonprofits, going to North Commons Park. I haven't met anybody from the church, but thank you for coming out in force today. You've been very impactful. And there's a gentleman from the North Loop from the 3rd Ward. I don't know if he's still here. I see in front. And of course, being from the 3rd Ward, you really have good ideas. So thank you for coming. And this whole concept of unrestricted access at the station. So again, going back to the county, to the project office, the Met Council, you are studying what to do with select stations that are high crime stations right now. So perhaps we do not want to repeat the mistake that was made on these original lines with this unrestricted access. In fact, I would love it if someone from Metro Transit could return my call to talk about the station between Hennepin and First Avenue and all the crime that's consistently raising hell on that top. So if any of you have influence, send the word, send up a smoke signal, call back Councilmember Rainville. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Rainville. I know that there's a lot of project staff here, so I would ask that someone please speak with Councilmember Rainville to make sure he gets a call back from the Met Council and Metro Transit. I see some nods. Great. Thank you for identifying yourself. And thanks to all the staff for being here. Seeing no further comments or discussion before us, we'll take this up again on Tuesday in the Intergovernmental Relations Committee, chaired by Councilmember Chowdhury and vice chaired by Councilmember Rainville. 10 a.m. on Tuesday. With that and without objection, we stand adjourned today. Thank you.